So this is a video about the basics of foot strike. Foot strike means how your foot contacts the ground when you're running. So first we're just going to watch a quick video of me bouncing up and down with a powerful foot strike. Right? The concept here is one of a bouncy foot. And if we watch in slow motion as my foot, we look at my left foot as it is about to hit the ground. This is not completely the same as running because I'm bouncing backwards and forwards and what's called a switch jack or a stride jack. But the concept of having one's toes up, the number one thing on our list, is having the toes up. And you can tell that my toes are up. You can see the tendons in my foot flexing my toes up. When your toes are up, by pulling your toes up, what you're doing is you are activating the arch here on the inside of your foot, and then the arch combines with your Achilles tendon and your calf to have a spring-like effect once you hit the ground. So let's watch that. My toes are up, and then once I hit the ground, I'm landing on this space right behind my toes, on this pad. Your foot has a pad there for a reason. That's where you're supposed to land when you run. And then what happens is you can see immediately, if I'm landing like that, immediately my Achilles tendon has tension in it, my calf has tension in it, and it all compresses and bounces me right off the ground like a spring. So if I speed that up, you can see that I'm bouncing. So this is a drill called the bouncy foot. You look at that right there. That's the bouncy foot. The concept here is if I have all three things going on my list, number one is my toes are up. You can see that. My toes are up. Number two is I have this posture. Upper body here is at this lean. And then that's because my hip is hinged, and you can see I'm not completely straight up and down at the hips. My tailbone is long, I'm unhinged. And what that allows me to do is to then apply force in the same direction as my torso, right? And what that does then, what that means is that I can push with my butt to make my foot go into the ground. And if I can push with my butt and I can push my foot, right? Well, watch this. This is the key thing here. So the foot will go down into the ground and then bounce off and come right back up at the same angle. So I'll run that fast, right? I'll run that back, leave those there, and you can see that that's exactly what the bouncy foot is. Boing, bounces off. Right? And then you can see here how that then translates into forward movement is that I do it with the fall or with horizontal momentum, right? Running is just controlled falling and reacting off the ground. So here, you see how that works. This is called the A march. It's the next step of that. Toes up, getting ready for the ground, have that lean hinged posture so I can do the work in the same direction as my glutes. So these are pogo jacks. These are just a very basic way to practice this bounce. They're just jumping jacks, but you're keeping your toes up the whole time, right? Jumping jacks, and then stride jacks where you're keeping your toes up the whole time. These are pogo hops. They're two-footed bounces, right? Now, this is key here. This is where the third part of this is very important. So for pogo hops and for running in general, but it's all about reacting to the ground. So you see me in the forward pogo hops right here, moving forward. And then you see me in the backward pogo hops moving backwards. Now you can see my arms, and my arms are important here because they're going to demonstrate exactly what I'm doing. So when I jump, when I'm ready to jump, my arms are behind me. And I initiate the jump by pushing with my glutes and my arms come up with my body. right? So that's key. Why I say that's key is if we look at the slow motion here, I'm in midair, but I am prepared for the ground. I am already ready to hit the ground, right? So running is all about you get a reaction off the ground, and the leg comes back through and gets ready for the ground again before it hits the ground, which allows you to be elastic. So you can see here I have all three things that I need. I have my toes up. I can zoom in for you. You can see the toes are up. And then I'm also in the air with my posture. I have my leaned posture, hip hinge, ready to apply force or drive with my glutes, right? The posture is key because it allows us to use the glutes to produce the force, and then the calf and ankle as a elastic component of the movement. And the third thing, right, on that initial list was prepare in the air. You can see here I am already ready for the ground, and as I continue, I'm just getting prepared, and I meet the ground with the spring. I meet the ground with the spring, and I'm able to get off really fast and get high with it. So basically, those are the basics, right? It's going to see me going. The goal here, of course, is to have as little time on the ground as you can. If you struggle with the timing, the jump rope will make you have to prepare in the air. You have to get over the rope and time it up clean. These are single leg bounces. They're the same idea, but one leg at a time. And you gradually can get in and let them go from a straighter leg to a more bent leg, right? And so here you see same three things. The posture with the hinge, right? And the free leg. And then the toes are up, right? On each foot. You can see it again there. Right before I hit the ground, look at my toes. Foot's not completely dorsiflexed, but the toes are flexed so that the arch is on, so that I can bounce off the ground. So these are things to work on before you go running. Just nice and easy. None of this should be crazy intense, and you shouldn't have to jump that hard. But if you can get the elastic energy out of your foot and ankle, and power yourself with your glutes, one, you put a lot less stress on stuff that you usually have to push with, that you won't have to push with nearly as much anymore. And two, you can just get more pop for every stride you take, which will make you run way faster.